Think of your writer like a dragon. They get cold, they get hungry, and they will have a weird collecting habit you don't understand. They also take pride in their hoard and want to see it everywhere. That was what my wife said when I asked her about the topic of today's video. Hello! Today we're going to be talking about gifts you can give your writer friends, or family members, or partners, or, the people in your life who are writers, who you want to get gifts for. Because it is about to be my birthday, and also other gift-giving times of year. So I wanted to make a list, this is a thing I've seen other people do, where they make a list of things that writers might like as gifts. And I've made my own list because it's about to be my birthday. So here we go, that's it, that's the whole instruction, let's go. I made notes because I'm that person. So the first thing on my list is a copy of your favourite book, potentially with a personalised note inside. If the book is in their genre that they write in, all the better, but even if it's not, there's something so heartfelt about getting a book with a personalised message from a friend in it. And not to put too much of a plug straight in number one, but if you buy a signed copy of Mary Ellen Breaking the Curse, my book from me, link in the description box below, you get to put up to 50 words of your own personalised message in the front. This one's not signed. It would obviously be signed. But also, because it's NaNoWriMo and I felt like being chaotic and generous, I'm rolling a dice this month to see if you get any extra, or rather, if you don't just get a nat 1, if you don't just get a nat 1 on my D20, you get an assortment of freebies to go with your book, which can include things like this postcard, which is a map of Shima where the story takes place, and of course you can write on the postcard yourself to add a little personalisation to it if that is something that you would be interested in. And if you don't like the idea of giving them a copy of a book that you've already written in, on the off chance that it's not their genre and they don't really love it and they want to move on, you can use stuff like this, like these postcards, to write a personalised message to them and then just slip it inside. And then they can keep the message even if they don't necessarily want to keep the book. So that's always a fun one to do. I think that one's just so heartfelt in so many ways because it is your favourite book, or a favourite book of yours. Like, obviously, I think everybody has more than one favourite book because I certainly do. And like, even if it's a book that they already have, they can have so much enjoyment from having a special copy that you gave them, even if it's just the generic paperback copy, and the only reason that it's special is because you've written a note on the inside. You know? Thing number 2 that I've got on my list is something that everybody always says, but I want to leave some caveats with, which is a notebook. So the biggest caveat when it comes to notebooks is, does your writer write by hand? If the answer is, I don't know, don't bother with a notebook. If you don't know whether they write by hand, there is no point buying them a nice notebook. And then the second caveat I always want to put on the notebook thing is, does your writer have a preference about notebooks? Like, I have preferences about notebooks. My favourite kind of a notebook is this kind. Not this brand, just this size, this shape, lined, A5, like that's my favourite kind of notebook to write in. But I know plenty of other people who like more fancy notebooks with fancy designs on the front, notebooks that are like not ring bound, notebooks that are not lined, notebooks that have dot grid or plain pages, or even some people like grid square pages. All of these are fine things, but they're important to writers a lot of the time because it impacts the way you interact with the pages themselves. Which sounds like a big sort of like fuss about something that's not particularly important, but it's a complicated and nuanced thing. An A4, for me, an A4 notebook is too big. I can't shove it in a bag when I go out. I can't stick it on the edge of a desk. I can't write on my knee with it. It's not portable enough for my liking. For me, again, because that is the sort of onus of it, it has to be portable. I have to be able to like pick it up, throw it in a bag, pick it up and like balance it tentatively on whatever surface I can get my hands on, even if that surface is my own knees. Portability is the ultimate goal here, which is also why I like ring-bound notebooks, because you can fold them back on themselves in a way you can't very much do with like a hard bound notebook. Other people do not have that. Other people have the exact opposite preferences. They like a notebook that stays where it is, that's sturdy, that's reliable, that they know they're only going to write on a desk somewhere. Like, these are preferences you have to take into account, and you should if you're going to buy a writer a notebook. So, those are the caveats, but notebooks are good. Like, my in-laws tend to buy me the same notebooks every year, and they are plain black cardboard front and back cover notebooks that are to my exacting specifications. And the reason that they buy these plain black ones is because there's an element of fun in there, because they know I have my special signing pens and they know I have a lot of stickers at home. I can decorate the front of these notebooks however I want to. Do I have an example? Or did I put them all away? I put them all away. No, wait, is this one got anything on the front of it? Nope. Yeah, no, I haven't got any out right now, they're all away, but I put stickers on the front of it, and then I can remember which notebook is which because they literally just have a sticker on the front of it. The dinosaur stickers notebook is all of my notes from Mary Ellen Breaking the Curse's publishing plan. Do you know what, I didn't put stickers on this list and I totally should have. Pens! See notebooks in they might have preferences about the kind of pens that they like. Try and find out, again, obviously, if they write by hand in the first place. My favourite year was the year that my in-laws bought me a full box of my favourite kind of pen, because they love getting fancy schmancy pens, and like that's their thing, is the fancy schmancy pens, the pens that you can refill and reuse over and over and over again. I, however, have never got on with those because I'm way too dyslexic and the fancy schmancy pen is too heavy in my hand. I like a really lightweight pen. My favourite kind of pen? This one, specifically. This one is the Papermate Ink Joy pen in purple. I write pretty much everything in purple because it's so much easier to buy a purple pen than it is to buy a purple papered notebook. And because I have high scotopic sensitivity, because I'm dyslexic, purple is the easiest colour for me to read. So we do purple. And they bought me this full box of these really cheap ass pens. And it was the best. I'm still using those pens even now. It's brilliant. I love that gift so much. And like, it sounds so silly. It's just a box of pens, but it felt so nice to get it because it was like, you feel seen, you feel heard, and you know that you then don't have to go out of your way to try and find those pens because you have a whole box of them as a gift. And like every time you use them you think, oh, my in-laws bought me these pens. Or at least I did, that was maybe just me, or maybe other people are more normal about pens. My fourth gift on my list is more useful for pretty much every writer in your life, because at some point every writer, especially the more like professional they are, and by professional in bunny ears I mean whether they are working towards the goal of actual traditional publication, independent publication, or publishing on something like WordPress or AO3 for fan fiction, or whatever it is they plan on doing with their writing, in all likelihood, they're probably using a word processing software at some point, which means they're working on a computer at some point, and if they're working on a computer at some point, they will want to back up their files, and if they want to back up their files, you can give them some kind of memory-based device. Pen drives are fun. They're usually cheap. You can get them in fun styles. It's a great personalizable present, and every writer needs to back up their work, and you will have provided them the opportunity and the reminder to do so. If you are a writer watching this video, pause, back up your work and come back. Trust me, you want to do it now. You don't want to lose it, you want to do it now. My number 5 thing is another thing that pops up on a lot of lists, which is gloves. I recommend fingerless gloves because that way they can work on their laptop with their gloves on. The cost of living crisis is real, guys, and whether it's that your writer can't heat their home as much as they might like to, whether it's that you just don't have a lot of money for gifts, fingerless gloves are cheap, easy and useful. Even if they only ever use them going out, even if they never use them for actual writing, keeping your hands healthy is such an important part of being a writer, and most writers will do anything they can in order to maintain the health of their hands, wrists and arms, because well, it's our livelihoods. Number 6 is a recommendation from my wife, which is mugs, and this is where I normally, oh, this'll do. Mugs. This one is a Commander mug from the Guardian Cadet series, of which Mary Ellen Breaking the Curse is the first. This is my wife's coffee mug from this morning. Mugs. Book mugs ideally, or writing related mugs, but the vast majority of writers, then again actually, not even the vast majority of writers, everybody has to drink. If your particular writer is more of a cold drinks kind of person, you can get the cold drinks containers. You know, you've probably seen them drinking out of stuff, you probably know what kind of drinks containers they have in their house. If they have a collection of mugs already, a lot of us do, then adding to it is always a good plan. If they're more of a cold drinks kind of person, but they like those tumblers with the twisty lids, or like a water bottle collection or whatever, you can get them stuff like that. Or even if you don't want to get them like a whole water bottle because you know they've got really exacting specifications, there's the possibility that you could get them a waterproof sticker to stick on a water bottle, which would also be really cool. Or like things like that, you know, drinking vessels. But mugs are a really great idea because a lot of people do like them. A lot of people do drink out of mugs on the regular. Of course, if they're like my in-laws, I've just sung their absolute praises and I'm hounding on them because they're weird. They only have like boring matching mugs. So like obviously if your friend's that kind of a person, I don't personally understand it, but everyone enjoys what they enjoy, and if you want matching mugs, that's fine. But even if they don't want to use it as an actual mug, they could use it as a pen pot. Like I have a Guardian Cadet mug that I use it as a pen pot on a regular basis. So like, that's great. And again, we'll get to this later, but you can get stuff, if they do have a book published, you can get stuff with their like merch kind of stuff printed onto it. This is where I would love to be wearing my Mary Ellen Breaking the Curse hoodie, but it is in the wash, so I can't. The 7th thing I've got on the list is a mug warmer if you're feeling fancy and you have the money to spare, because most writers, again, will get distracted away from their hot drink, forget to drink it, and then they have cold hot drink, which is always kind of pants. Or if you again have a cold drink based writer, getting those fancy ice cubes or fancy ice cube trays, depending on whether they like proper ice or those little reusable ice cube thingies, it can be a really good idea because it's a lot of fun and it's something that they'll use on a regular basis, but it's not something that's going to break the bank, and it's also not something that's like going to clutter their house up too much, I guess. I don't know, that was a weird way of phrasing that. Moving on. Number 8, their own merch. Or merch you made for them that doesn't actually exist, like my Mary Ellen Breaking the Curse hoodie. I told you we'd get to this. My Mary Ellen Breaking the Curse hoodie was another thing that my in-laws made for me when I published Mary Ellen Breaking the Curse. So I published it in October of last year, 2021, and for my birthday of that year, again it's in December, they got me a hoodie with the cover on the front of it, but cropped out my name and the Guardian symbol. So it's just like the top and bottom half of the cover, like here to like there, on a hoodie, bonk, which was really cool and it made me really happy. So like even if you're not buying their merch from them, because that can be a bit weird, and usually we have a bunch of that, you can get those kinds of personalised items online. Like again, not to keep hounding about mugs, but this mug is a mug that I bought for my wife from Vistaprint. I did the design myself to match the cadet mugs that you can win from me when you enter winnable things. There's not one going on right now. But I made her a Commander one because she likes Commander Wicklow. And also because I already had a Colonel one, because I made that for myself. And yeah, so like you can make stuff that's to do with their books or their stories or whatever it is, especially if you've read it, you can make something that matches up with something that happens in the story, or that exists in the world that they've made, and provide it to them and be there like, I really liked this aspect of it. And it's not only just a gift, it's again that really heartfelt feeling of, oh wow, you've gone out of your way to make this for me. Oh wow, you've paid attention to this aspect of the story. Oh wow, this stood out to you. It's like feedback as well as a gift. And then for number 9, I have sticky notes. Not to keep making the point about preferences and specifications, but like again, if they don't write by hand or they're not a sticky note person, obviously this is useless. But A lot of writers do really like having sticky notes around, whether that is to help them with plotting, if they plot manually, or if they plot at all, or macroscoping, which is what I do, which is where you basically plot after you've written the whole story. Or whether it's just stuff like keeping notes around for like, oh, go back and change this, or whether it's the little page tabby ones, like this page tabbies. So this is where I've picked out pieces of scenes that are really important for continuity purposes, and things like that. All of those kinds of things are really helpful for a lot of writers, and the vast majority of writers do like a good sticky note, so sticky notes are a good choice. Number 10 I have on my list is a reading journal, so that they can make notes about the books that they've read and the things that they like in them, whether that is like writing craft books or writing fiction books that they want to take notes from. If you get them a proper reading journal, which is the thing that you can get, or even if you just get them a book that says reading journal on the front, they can start making notes of things, and then it's all gathered together in one place, so that later when they come back to it, or if they want to try and find what did I really like about, I'm not just going to keep saying Mary Arlan Breaking the Curse, but Mary Arlan Breaking the Curse, what did I really like about it? They can make those notes when they're actively reading it and go from there. And like, obviously, pretty much every writer is a reader, because if you weren't a reader, you wouldn't want to write a book. Would you? Hi, Dana. Number 11 is writing craft books, provided that you can take a gander at their current collection of writing craft books. Like, pretty much everybody who came into my... Oh, then again, actually, no, because my books are in the bedroom right now, but a lot of the time, pretty much anybody that comes into my house is going to see my desk, because my desk is there, and my sofa is here. So... So they're going to see my writing craft books that I use on the regular, because those are the ones that live on the desk. I have others, but the ones that live on the desk are the ones that I use the most. Gwen Hayes is Romancing the Beat, so if you have a writer who does not own this already in paperback, because it's so much easier in paperback, but they like to write romantic books or romantic subplots, this is useful. But then again, if they write romance books, they probably already have this. So... Number 12, that's 17, 12 of things that you can buy your writer friend is books in their genres. And like, you as the friend of the writer can take the things that you know that they like to try and extrapolate what kind of books they like. So like, again, if you are just basing this on me because I am a person speaking to you now and I am the person I can base this on most easily, and all you know is that I've published a book called Mary Arlan Breaking the Curse. It's an adult fantasy with heapings of magic, action adventure, and a delightful, slow burn, heartwarming romance. These are things you can use as search terms to find books that you think I might like, because that is the kind of book I have written. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll have seen that I talk about Mass Effect, for example, the video game Mass Effect. You can extrapolate from that if I like Mass Effect, I probably like Mass Effect style narratives, and you can use that when looking for books in like sci-fi books that are like Mass Effect. These are the kinds of things you can do. If you play D&D with a friend, you can take the knowledge of how they play D&D, what kind of characters they play, what kind of worlds you like to play in, and extrapolate what they might like. If they loved Curse of Strahd, get them something gothic. If they liked I Spy a Peak, think about getting them something with dragons in it. That kind of thing. There's a very simplistic way of looking at it, but that's the kind of thing we're talking about. And finally, number 13 is if all else fails and you cannot think of anything to get your writer friend, none of these other 12 gifts really tick the box that you're looking for. You don't feel like you know them necessarily well enough to get them anything that specific, or they don't have a published book, you can't get them merch of their own, they don't have a published book, so you can't use that to extrapolate what they like. They're a relatively new friend, they're a friend of a friend, they're your cousin, whatever. There's some kind of distance there that means that you can't extrapolate any of the things that need extrapolating, and ultimately none of this list has been particularly helpful. But for that, which is totally fair, a book token. I don't mean like an Amazon gift card, although that is also an option if you can't get your hands on a book token, but a national book token in the UK is a thing. I don't know if there's a thing, I don't know if it's a thing everywhere else, but in the UK there's a thing called the national book token, and this is something I won a lot as a child. But a national book token is a gift card essentially that can be used in any bookshop to buy books. And you can put a certain amount of money on there, and you can let your writer go to a bookshop, pick out the books they like with your national book token, and then they have the books that they want. You know they've picked something they're going to like, and you have facilitated that. It's a really nice gift. It's a really easy way of doing things. It doesn't give the same vibes as a gift card. Like, I've had gift cards before, and it's sort of, they're like, oh, okay, that's a gift card. Because a lot of the time with gift cards, you sort of pick somewhere you think they would like based on the age, the gender, that kind of thing. It's a very, very distanced gift. Whereas with a book token, you're actively saying, I know you like books. I want you to pick a book that you like. Anyway, if you would like to buy a signed copy of Mary Arlan Breaking the Curse from me, woohoo, you can. The links are in the description box below. And if you're not based in the UK, you need to get your order in before the 3rd of December. I mean, ideally get your order in before the end of November, because you'll get free stuff. But it needs to be in before the 3rd of December, because that is one of the last posting days for international post in the UK. And that is where I live, so that is where I'm posting from, and that is what the post office tells me if you want to get it before Christmas, which I imagine a lot of people are buying gifts for Christmas. But this does also work as a birthday list, so, because I'm talking about it for my birthday, because it's about to be my birthday. I'm excited. So yeah, all the links for that are in the description box below. Like I said, there is a deadline if you want international post to arrive by a certain date. Otherwise, just buy it whenever. I do also take a 2-week break between my birthday and Hogmanay, which is New Year's, if you didn't know. So I will not be posting anything out between those dates. So again, you will be waiting a while. Like, it'll still get posted out to you. I'll set it all up, ready to go. I'm just not taking it to the post office during my break. That's a holiday for me. So it won't be posted out until January. Then the sticks. So yeah, feel free to buy that if that is something that interests you. If you want to find me or my book all over the internet, the links are in the description box below, right next to the like and subscribe buttons if you feel like sticking around. And of course, you can always support the channel by clicking through to my Ko-fi account and giving me a little tip for these videos. They support the channel, and they might very well one day help me get a video camera that actually functions properly. I will see you in 2 weeks' time. Bye. Oh, and if you're wondering how NaNoWriMo's going, it's going very badly. Thank you for asking.